Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we will be discussing the movie Surf's Up. Now Surf's Up starts out with the reality film crew interviewing Cody, and they ask Cody the Penguin what surfing is, and Cody says surfing. Well, as soon as there was the first wave, there was the first surfer. All they needed was some driftwood and some ice, and they were on the waves, man. But nobody knew what surfing was until Big Z did it. And then they go on to ask Cody, who is Big Z? And Cody explains, who is Big Z? Big Z is everything, man. Big Z is surfing. They invented the ocean just for Big Z to surf on. And he came to Antarctica when I was just a kid. And he said to me, you know, kid, never give up and find a way. 'Cause that's what winners do. And he gave Cody this one-of-a-kind Big Z necklace. And he patted him on the head, and then he went off to surf. Big Z went off to surf. And Cody said that Big Z was the greatest, and one day he is going to be just like him. So we meet the family. We meet the brother Glenn, who teases Cody about being in the show. Well, teasing Cody about being in the movie, because the the um the reality film crew is filming the movie. It's like this movie is very creative, and I just love it so much. The movie's like very creative. So the reality film crew is filming Cody and all the stuff about surfing when Glenn messes with him and throws a snowball at him, and he says, "Great, a movie is coming out about you, little brother. Can I get in line now to not see it?" And then we meet his mother, the sweetest thing ever. And she tells them that Cody was the small egg, Glenn was the big egg. And she feels bad for Cody because he never really knew his father, because his father got eaten, and then the directors tell him that it had to be traumatic. And then Cody says, "Not for me, man. Not for me." So we see Cody's job. He is sorting the fish. But then we cut over to Pingu Island, and they have a Big Z memorial every year. And Reggie, the talent scout, is looking for a next big surfer, because Big Z was a big surfer until he passed it away in a big wave. And also, when Big Z went, his board went, but they still have his board on the island at the shrine. as to where Big Z stood. So Mikey goes off to tell us how he found Big Z and that was his biggest accomplishment, and how Big Z was a son to him. But now he's trying to find another big surfer that he can use and that he can promote. He can use to be famous because he's a big promotional surfer. And he says that he makes every surfer's dream come true about being the one-time big surfer. So we cut over to Mikey, who is scouring the globe to find these surfers for the Big Z Memorial Surf-Off competition. And he stops at Sugar Pool, and this is here when we get another story from Glenn telling the audience that Cody doesn't know anything about responsibility. Sitting on an egg is a big responsibility, and Cody just doesn't get that. And then we get the wise penguins, who tells us that they have worked their way up to the fish pile to the sardine pile. And Cody tells the producers that I don't understand why everybody is judgmental. Cody is this, Cody's that, Cody's this, Cody's that. Cody is me, man, he says. Let me be me. So, after that, he goes out into the water again to surf. Then he comes back with his mom and Glenn, and his mother asks him, how was it out there? And Cody says, it was good, it was good, it was good. So, the producers ask him, what is your dream? And then Cody says to go away. And then Glenn teases him. Man, they are so brothers. Glenn teases him once again. Oh, to go away. Oh, you can't have responsibility. I gotta go away. So Mike, Mikey, the guy that works for Reggie, he comes to Pangu Island to look at Cody surf. And Cody is so excited, he gets his board and he tells his mom that I am going to go off to surf. Do you want to come and watch? And then his mom says that she is busy chopping up fish. But she tells Cody good luck and to tell him to be careful of those big waves. And then while Mike is waiting, he doesn't see any big waves coming. So he leaves to get on the whale to go back to Pangu Island, where the competition is being held. And then Cody says, No, 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 no. Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. So he goes swimming after him, and then all the surfers all the surfers hear Cody saying, "No, wait, you gotta see what I can do, and I am not giving up, and I am not giving up until I go to Pingu and be in that competition." And Cody tells the cameras that he's never won anything in his whole life, and just for once, he would like to feel like a winner. So, while the whale is going away back to Pingu Island, Cody swims after the whale. He gets on the whale halfway, and he tries to grab on to Chicken Joe's board, but he misses. So he tries again, and then and then Chicken Joe, his best friend, helps him get onto the well, and they end up talking all the way to Pingu, and Mike says he's in the competition because that was entertaining in a horrifying sort of way. So he is in, as long as he doesn't do anything like that in the competition. So, when they get to Pingu Island, they meet a whole bunch of other surfers who is in the competition. Him and Joe are having fun, actually doing the hula. And they're just having fun hanging out. And then he meets Lonnie the lifeguard, who he is totally in love with. And then Chicken Joe, the best character in the movie, he says, "What are you doing talking to me for? Go talk to her." And then Cody says, "No, I'm not going to go talk to her." And then and then after Lonnie is done saving Arnold, her son, from in the water because he can't swim, she then told us how she loves her job, and with the competition, you have to be vigilant because there are a lot of bodies in the water. But yeah, I have a perfect record. I never lost anybody. And yeah. So Arnold, the sweet little guy, gets into the water again when she's not looking. And then she saves him again. Her and Cody meet, and Cody tells her that he is there for the surf competition, and Lonnie says, I will be watching you." And then Cody says, "Really, you're gonna be watching me?" And then Lonnie says, "Yeah, well, it's kind of my job. I'm the lifeguard." So Chicken Joe says, "Cody, are you gonna kiss her or what? Let's go." I'm like, "Chicken Joe, you're a great wingman." It was just so cute and so funny. So Chicken Joe actually, Chicken Joe actually tells Lonnie that Cody likes her, and then they go off Lonnie laughs at Chicken Joe's comment. So they go off, and Cody says, "Walk me through the approach. I'm Lonnie, you're me." And then Chicken Joe said that you see are in and then Chicken Joe says, "Are you sure? I can get pretty serious." And then Cody says, "Let's not. Let's not." And then he sees the shrine for Big Z, and then we get a flashback of Big Z surfing a wave and him getting taken out by the wave and his board washing up on shore in 1,000 pieces. And then everybody is throwing necklaces in the water to remember Big Z. And then it turned out that Tank the Shredder Evans is throwing rocks at Big Z's memorial shrine. And Cody tells him to stop that, and Cody tries to punch him, but it doesn't do anything to Tank. And then Cody tells him that he will never be as good as Big Z. And then Cody also says, "I will take you on anytime, anywhere." And then Reggie says, who is supposed to be breaking up the fight between them? Reggie says, "Well, how about right here, right now? Who wants to see the little guy take on the champ?" And then Arnold says, "Yeah, little guys rule." So Cody, Maverick, and Tank are going to go head and head in a big surf-off match. But when Cody goes, he gets knocked down 3 times under the wave. And the 3rd time he gets knocked down, he knocks his head down on the reef. But Lonnie swims in after him, and then when she finds him, he stepped on a sea urchin, and there is actually poison in the sea urchin, and he has got a concussion, I think. And then sweet, wonderful Chicken Joe tries to help Lonnie by telling Lonnie that he could help, but not if there's blood. Even talking about blood, the thought of blood, and Chicken Joe just ended up passing out. And then Lonnie says, "Somebody help the chicken." Which is this movie's joke? And at first it's kind of funny, but then again, after they keep saying it, it's really not funny anymore. But I love the movie. So, Lonnie ends up taking her to where her uncle is, Geek. Her uncle's name is Geek. So, she tells Geek to come and help him, to actually come and help him, because she brought Cody home with her and she is trying to get him to, and she is trying to get him to wake up because she doesn't know if he hit the reef or not. So Geek does actually heal his leg, and he does actually end up waking up, but then the only way to heal poison out of his leg from a sea urchin is to pee on it. So Geek ends up peeing on Cody's leg. Oh god. While Lonnie makes water sounds. And then Cody passes out again because he's in shock and he doesn't want it to happen. And neither do I. I was sitting by the TV making faces like, oh, when that scene happened. But Cody's leg does ended up feeling better, but Geek hit him in the head with a pineapple to get him to wake up. And then after that, he takes him back to the island. Well, the island path, rather. But then he loses his necklace and he tells Geek that it wasn't just a necklace. It was given to him from Big Z when he first came to Shiverpool. And Geek actually tells him, well, get another necklace at Reggie's trinket shop. And who cares what Big Z says? And Cody says, I do, because he taught me to never give up. Always find a way. And then Geek says, forget about what he said. Find your own way. And then Cody says that he doesn't have a way. And then Geek says, well, you do now. Just take this path back and you will be back to the island. Nice to meet you. And then Geek ends up finding the necklace and giving it back to Cody. And then they ended up making a board out of driftwood. And then Geek offers to make Cody a board out of driftwood. And then Cody says, nah, I don't want to make a board. No, I don't want to make a board. And then Geek says, get off your butt. We are making a board. And it's going to be the best board that you ever had. I'll tell you that. And then Cody says, all right, man. All right, let's make a board. And so they pull it back, all the way back. But then Cody gets tired, and he says, why are we pulling this thing? Why can't we just roll it? And then he rolls it on Geek's foot, and then he rolled it back, and it ends up going down the heel of the island. Oh, and Chicken Joe is on his way to find Cody in the jungle by himself. Chicken Joe packed a bag and he is on his way to try to find Cody, because they have been best friends ever since yesterday. And I am telling you, that is what I am talking about, Chicken Joe. That is what I am talking about. That is true friendship. Like, he dropped everything to go find Cody. But he runs into some and then he runs into some penguins that live in the jungle. And then they try to cook him and make him into soup. But Chicken Joe just think it was a hot tub. So so he didn't know that the penguins were trying to eat him. But they never did eat him. He escaped, and then they found him again, and they ended up eating and they ended up eating that chicken on a stick that Cody and Chicken Joe were eating at the beginning of the movie that they had back on Pangu Island. So anyway, back with Zeke and Cody. Cody ends up pushing the log so far down that Zeke ends up getting bumped by the log, and he ended up going down the mountain. But he's okay, and he tells Cody to help him up so he could kick his butt. And then and 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 then Geek tells him, "That's why we don't roll the log, Cody." And I'm like, "Yeah, Cody, this is why we don't roll the log. Because if you roll it and don't pull it, you and Zeke could go down the mountain head first. This is why we don't roll the log, Cody. This is why we pull at the log." So they got the board wood already, and Geek has drawn him an outline of the board. So Geek tells him, "Now the board is already in there. All you need to do is just whiff the grain, and do it gently." And so Geek tells him, "What you want is a firm board. Trust me, I'm an expert at these things. To actually get firm boards, I am an expert when it comes to surfboards, okay?" So Geek ends up showing him how to do it. Because at first, Cody is just picking at the board at first. At first, he's just hitting it and picking at the board. But when Geek tries to help him, Geek gets carried away and he smooths out the board so much that he doesn't let Cody do it the first time. So he apologizes and he says, "Don't make it too long and don't make it too short." And then Cody says, "Well, I can't cut the board and I can't do it the right way with you all up in my face. And I don't want your help to make my board." And then this is when Geek says, "Well, you don't want my help?" And then Cody says, "No, I don't want your help." So Geek says, "Well, build the board yourself. I won't be writing it. You are going to be writing it. So build the board yourself." And then Geek comes back and says something else. Well, he tries to say something else, but Cody says, "Well, Geek, just let me relax, man. Let me make the board. So he goes away, and then when Cody is done making the board, Geek tries to test it out, but Cody stops him and says, no, 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 no. This is my board, and I will not let you break it with that rock, because Geek likes to test boards out, and I really think it was a smart idea for Geek to test the board out before Cody went to go ride it, to make sure it's well and steady and wouldn't break in the water. But Cody doesn't let him test it out. Cody just grabs it and throws it in the water, and then it breaks on its own. And then Cody gets mad and actually throws it in the sand. And then he walks away, and then and 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 then Geek says, "Hey Cody, bring me some clams when you come back." And then Cody says, "I'm not coming back." So, yeah, Cody is mad. He walks off and he bumps into Lonnie, and then they go surfing in this beautiful volcano. And then Cody wins the race, but he gets thrown by the surfboard, by the surfboard, by the surfboard into glowworm poop. So while they are washing it off in the shower, which is cool because I didn't know that the mountains up there had showers. Anyway, Lonnie says that Lonnie actually says that she is jealous of Cody because it's been 10 years and she could not get Zeke to go to that island for 10 years. And then Cody says, I don't know if he would let me back on the island because I kind of been a jerk to him. So Lonnie says, well, go not be a jerk. So Cody goes back to Geek, and it turned out that Geek was actually nice to the producers. Oh. And it turned out that Cody has built his board. And Geek actually tried it out, and he finds it that it's nice and steady, that he gets on it and he bounces on it and it doesn't break. So he has taught Cody good. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Wow. While they were getting the driftwood, Cody stopped by this island, and it is somebody old's board shack. And it turns out that the board shack belongs to Big Z himself. So it turned out that Geek is actually Big Z. And Cody was actually trying to learn how to surf like Big Z does. So he got all his boards out and he came on the water, and Z was trying to teach him from on the island, on the beach. He was trying to teach him from on the island, but it didn't work out so well because Cody kept getting knocked down by waves. And then he just came in by one big wave and his head hit the sand. Yeah. It didn't go out so well when he tried to learn from Big Z on the island. But now he has it on board, and now Z tells Cody that it is time to train. So they end up playing catch. They end up playing in the sand together, and they end up putting cucumbers on their eyes. But Cody is getting annoyed. But I can see what Big Z was trying to do. He was trying to get Cody to relax and have fun, because surfing is supposed to be about fun, not always about winning. So it turns out that Cody does end up having fun while, let me tell you what he did. He put Z out there on the water on a surfboard when Z was sleeping, and he woke Z up for Z to catch a pineapple, and then a big wave hit Z, and then Cody just started laughing. And it turned out that Cody has passed the test. He is having fun, so him and Big Z go surfing, and then when Lonnie comes back to give Big Z the clams, it turns out that he is in the water, and he tells Lonnie to grab a surfboard and to come out and to surf with him. And so she does, and he tells Lonnie, "Thank you for always being there for me." Well, he doesn't say it that way, but he does say thank you. And it is a very sweet moment. And then they are cooking shrimp and singing songs and having a good time. And then Cody asks Big Z to come see him in the Big Z Memorial Surf-Off. And actually, Big Z says that he is not going to do that. And it turns out that Big Z didn't actually die. But I know that you guys already know this. So let me explain. Big Z didn't actually die. He knew that he was going to beat Tank that day, but he could also see that Tank was doing all these moves that he could not do anymore, and times have changed. So Zeke decided that enough was enough, so he faked his death to come and actually and and act and act and actually relax. But Cody tells him, well, what about find a way? What about never give up? And then Big Z tells him yeah, I'm giving up, that's my way. And if you don't like it, find your own way. And just leave me out of it. So he tears up the necklace and he goes back to Pangu Island by himself. And then he tells us that he was that he actually really looked up to Z, and it was hard enough losing one dad, but since he looked at Z as the father figure, I think what he was trying to say is, now I lost my other one who taught me how to surf. And let me just tell you, even though he didn't say it, the emotion is there. This is a wonderful movie. Go and watch it. It's on Tubi. This is a wonderful movie that will have you pulling at the heartstrings. So, even though he didn't say it, I think what he was saying was, it was hard enough losing one dad, and then, and, 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 and then the directors of the film crew was like, what do you mean by that? And then Cody says, nothing, nothing, man. And then Chicken Joe finds him in a trap that the jungle penguins have set up. But Chicken Joe can speak. But Chicken Joe can speak their language now. So Chicken Joe tells them to let Cody down. And so they do that, so they are off to the surfing competition. And it is now time for Cody to surf. And Mike and actually Mike sees him, and Mike was the one who said, "Oh, that poor kid." And then Mike tries to talk him out of it, but Reggie says, "Hey, kid, nice to see you." And then he gets on the microphone and says, "Hey guys, Cody Maverick is back. Look out, sharks, look out." So, yeah, a lot of haters are here, and Cody gets on that wave, and he uses everything that Big Z has taught him about relaxing and having fun. And it happened when he hears everybody downing him. His brother saying, his brother saying, when are you gonna grow up? And Tank saying that he is a loser. And Mike saying, you should have stayed in Antarctica, kid. So he proves all of them wrong because he surfed that wave, and it is phenomenal. It's amazing how he just surfs the wave. And then after this, Lonnie comes up to him after he made the finals with Chicken Joe. And then Lonnie Lonnie comes up to him and says, "Wow, finals. Well, that's what you came here for. And you made it pretty clear last night that me and Z are not important to you. But hey, maybe you could take your stupid trophy home." And honestly, I'm with Lonnie on this one. Like, dude, you didn't have to, like, dude, you did not have to leave Big Z like that. You can see that he was your friend. And when the final competition starts, Cody and Chicken Joe and Tank the Shredder Evans has to go to the boneyard. And this is a surfing island that nobody can ever return from. And Cody actually helps his friend Chicken Joe take it all the way home to win. And then Cody tries to surf, but Tank the Shredder Evans pushes Cody into the boneyard, while Tank actually gets taken out by a wave. But Tank's okay. But Cody is still out there, and Chicken Joe is out there on the island, and he actually asks Lonnie, "Where is Cody?" And then Lonnie just looks sad, cause she thinks because she thinks that Cody is gone. But who is there to save Cody? It is Big Z. It turned out that Big Z was watching him from afar. Was watching the competition from afar. And Big Z actually tells him to dig, and that you are going to be coming right here, right to me. You can paddle, you can do it. And then when he sees the big wave, Z then tells him, "Don't paddle, don't dig, don't do it. Let the wave carry you to me." And then it turned out that Cody listened and he let the wave carry him. And then Big Z and him are sitting on the surfboard, and Cody said, "I lost." And then Big Z says, "I know, me too." And then and then and 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 then Big Z says, "Well, come on, loser, let's go home." So they swim all the way back to the island, and Reggie is over here saying, "Don't touch Cody's board, don't touch that." This is the reminder of the young surfer who gave his life to the sport he loved. And Reggie is over here having a memorial saying, "Oh, how we will miss the young surfer Cody Maverick." And then it turns out that Big Z and Cody come on the island, and Big Z tells and Big Z tells Reggie, like, don't touch Cody's stuff, man. And then everybody is excited to actually sing to actually see Big Z in and they all ask Big Z, what happened? You're alive, what happened? And then Big Z says, I lost my way for a while. But that kid there, Cody, he showed me the way back. And then Lonnie hugged him. And then he hugged Lonnie. And it's just such a beautiful moment with Lonnie and Z and everyone together. And then Reggie says, hey, look at that. I am Reggie the Miracle Worker. You call me a talent scout? Well, look at me. I can bring people back from the dead. I brought Big Z back, didn't I? And I'm like, Reggie, just be quiet. And then Big Z says the big 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 and 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 then Big Z says and then big and 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 then Big Z says, Reggie, just be quiet. Just be quiet. I'm not a legend, Reggie. I'm just a guy looking for some good waves with some good friends. And everybody drops their surfboard to go be with Z and to go talk to Z. And then Reggie gets upset and says, you cannot leave me. I'm the agent. I'm Reggie. And then it turns out that Mike takes his wig off, takes Reggie's wig off. And then Mike gets fired by Reggie. And then Mike says, I can't imagine a better day. And then Big Z is giving out surfboards. And Cody says, I can't imagine a better friend than Z. And it turned out that Chicken Joe won, and that Cody saved his life from being crushed by that wave by letting him win. And actually the producers of the show, well, the producers of the movie actually asked Cody, why did you do that? And Cody says, well, that's what friends do. And then and 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 then the film crew asks Chicken Joe, what is it like to win? And then after this, we get and And then, and, 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 the, and, 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 and then, after this, we get Cody and Big Z surfing together, side by side. And just laying on their surfboards together, side by side, while Cody and Big Z high-five each other while staring at the sunset. They give each other a high five while they go surfing into the sunset. And that is the end of the movie. And we also get an end credit where the producers of the movie tell Cody's mom that he did not win. And then Cody's mom tells Glenn, his brother, that she hopes one day that he will be just like Cody. And then Glenn says, "This interview is over." And that's the end of the movie. Bye, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.